Hey guys, it's yours truly coming back at you all with another one, and today I am honestly only here to give you that Utopia Diamond Tier 1 deck profile. I was requested by, I cannot remember at this very moment, because I only glanced at the message and was like, why not? But without further ado, let's get right into it. Keep in mind, I don't have every single card that I would like to play in the extra deck. I would have liked to play Zeus, and I think I was missing another Utopia that was like supposed to be really good. But what I currently have works, and it, can play with the best of them. Play 3 copies of Maxi, self-explanatory. 3 copies of Ash, self-explanatory. 3 copies of Summon a Monk, because we play, or I play, 16 spells, so Summon a Monk on a spell card gets you full combo. Play 1 Inari Fire. Play 1 copy of the ZW Osra Strike. 1 copy of the Archfiend Eater of Nefarious Ness. 1 Gigabyte. 1 Damage Juggler. 2 copies of Heart Tricker. 2 copies of Armored Sage. 2 copies of the Ascended Sage, 1 copy of the Utopia, 1 Tornado Bringer, 2 Nibiru, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Reinforcements of the Army because your ZSs are warriors, 1 Lightning Storm, 2 Rank of Magic Zexal Force, 2 Zexa Construction, and this is important. This is to ensure that if you do open with your double or nothings, that you can put them back in the deck to trigger your Utopia doubles effect. You play 2 copies of Exchange Tactic. Well, basically 6 in this. I will explain how you get the other 4, but 2 copies of Exchange Tactics, 2 copies of Double or Nothing for your 2 copies of Utopia Double, 2 Call by the Grave, self-explanatory, 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets because certain boards are really annoying, and if Nibiru isn't in hand in time, Droplets is your fallback, so that you can turn off those pesky monster effects and hit your Utopia OTK combo. Your 6 Exchange Tactics is the 2 here. You get access to Exchange Tactic through Astraltopia, as you can discard any card and get you a XYZ Onomat or Zexal or number spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and Exchange Tactics fits that category. And then your other 3 ways is using Summon a Monk's effect to discard a spell card to get you to him, to get you to your Exchange Tactic. Then you go Utopia Double to regular Utopia to the C39 or S39, and then into Utopia the Lightning, so that you draw 4 cards, reducing your life points down by 2,000, which puts you right in range to use Zexal Force's effect from the graveyard to draw an additional card from your deck. So you would then draw 5 in that situation instead of 4. But in the extra deck, we play 3 copies of regular Utopia, self-explanatory, 1 C39 Utopia Ray, 1 S39 Utopia Prime, 2 Utopia Double, 1 Leo Arm, 1 Utopia Ray V, 1 Utopia Ray Victory, 1 Utopia the Lightning, 1 Drill Driver, 1 Utopia Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray, 1 Utopia Beyond, which is excellent because if your opponent has like a really stacked board with high attack points, just bring this guy out, make all the attack 0, and equip him with Osra Strike, and then you have a 7k beater just running through everything. Like running a train on a, you guys know the term. And then 1 Utopia Kaiser, which this would just be out for the next Utopia that allows you to special summon. But that's it for the deck. Why I play Nibiru, everyone knows. If my opponent decides to extend, I can force my opponent or cause my opponent not to extend to OTK me, and if they do extend, I Nibiru them. If by some chance you don't open Nibiru, you open Maxi, then you draw into the Nibiru, or you draw into an Ash and stop one of their ad or turn off their pot cards. And if you don't get Nibiru, most likely you draw into a Droplets. Droplets offer Moxie. You have tons of resources to neg 6 monster effects, depending on how many special summons. Because based off of combo based decks now, your opponent can special summon anywhere from 10 to about 20 times, depending on the deck. It can be even more than that. So, you know, Droplets and 6 monster negates, very easy. But this is what I play. You do not, and I repeat, and I always state this, that it cannot ever be overstated. Play what works for you. Yes, I play 2 copies in the Nibiru. Yes, I play 3 Moxie and 3 Ash as my standard choice for hand traps, but you do not have to play that. I've seen someone play Sphere mode, and in every situation, or almost every situation they ended up in, the Sphere mode worked in their favor. So if you want to play the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode in place of the Nibiru, if that works for you, you play that. If Ash and Moxie does not work for you, do not play them. You can play Veilers, you can play Imperm, you can play whatever hand traps you like. Play what works for you. If a certain ratio of cards doesn't work that I have formulated in this deck, and you want to up the number on 1 or 2 of those cards, like going up on another Damage Juggler and a Heart Tricker, because believe it or not, Damage Juggler is really good, especially against that burn deck that's supposed to OTK you first turn without you having a response. Damage Juggler does get you around that by negating what's it called again, DD Dynamite, whatever the trap is that burns you for every card banished, and other burn decks. He helps prevent you from getting OTK via burn. So if you want to up this to 2 or 3, you can do so. You can add in more performance monsters, so that when you do dump him, you can just, you know, get another performance monster, maybe a Trick Clown, an additional Heart Tricker, and then you have your spirit monsters that you can freely special summon just by having a spellcaster on board. But like I said, you play what works for you. I can never overstate this. You have too many, and when I mean too many, I kid you not, too many people falling into lies and despairs. Just because the best player in the world says that they play that doesn't mean you should play that, because then you're gonna have a ton of decks that almost exactly mimic or resemble each other, that's so constructed similarly that once you know how to beat the core engine of the deck, everybody else falls to whatever it is you're playing. And that's how you play Yu-Gi-Oh! The only thing you need to make yourself aware of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is what is dominating the meta at that time and the core of that deck. Once you can beat the core of the deck or slow it down from achieving full combo, you can win. That is why I play Moxie, that is why I play the Ash, that is why I play Nibiru, and that is why I prefer Droplets now, because it has a quick effect over the Ruler No More. In decks that cannot afford the cost, you would then play Ruler No More. But that is why I play those cards, because they work best against the current meta. My opponent can set up, and you guys, if you watch the video, you've watched me turn off the boards. They are currently raping that Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. You just go Droplets, Phoenix Enforcer is irrelevant, and then you just OTK the opponent, or destroy the Phoenix Enforcer. When it goes to the graveyard, you get called by the grave, and it's irrelevant after that for that Phoenix Enforcer. But make yourself aware of what's dominating the meta, what's being played, and implement combo measures, or not combo, implement strategic measures within your deck builds to be able to either prevent them, slow them down, or just nullify what they are playing in their deck, or to shut it down. And whatever the combination you have in your deck then becomes relevant, because not only can you prevent your opponent from either fully comboing off or preventing them from achieving full combo, but that then allows you to play Yu-Gi-Oh! If you watch one of the duels, you would see where I type my opponent Moxie me, and I refused to special summon after that because they had no cards in hand. The less resources your opponent has, the less they can play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just simplicity of dueling at its finest. You don't have to play what I play. Play what works for you. And always remember, with the newer cards that they have as support engines or as main engines, you can now make almost any deck relevant. All it is turn deck construction, implementing the cards that you can use to help slow down the current meta, prevent the current meta from setting up, or preventing them from making any sensible plays on the whole. Or if they do set up, you can turn off or shut down their boards using cards like Nibiru and Sphere Mode, Rule No More, and Droplets. Having the right ratio of cards is also important. I just felt the need to stress that in this video so you guys do not fall prey to being sheeps. Just because the best player in the world says, hey, this is what you have to play for success, you have to keep in mind that it's about deck matchups. If that current combo is matched up against every other deck that has no answer to it, obviously you're going to top your nationals or your regionals or your YCS because no one came there with an answer to it. But when someone comes there with an answer to it and able to shut it down, you're going to take L after L after L. And that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Deck matchups, weaknesses, if you're brick or if someone outplays you, that's all it comes down to in terms of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. If no one has an answer for your deck when you show up, obviously you are going to win. That's all it is. If you have an answer, automatically you just put your opponent in a horrible position and give yourself a chance to win. And you can probably play the most bizarre or weird combo or use the most simplistic engine like what's it called now that brings Rocket Tracer, the spell card, I can't remember it at the moment. But anyway, I played in Raptors. You can just play that as a one card engine and use multiple different one card engines along with numerous hand traps and stuff like that to slow down the meta, and you can win your regionals, your nationals, your YCS if no one has an answer to your combos. And also if you have answers to their core engine or their support engine from going full combo. And that is how you effectively play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively. Do not let anyone else tell you otherwise. Do not allow anyone to tell you you have to play a certain card. I do not recommend that. My play style is unorthodox for a reason. When I break down and explain why I play what I play, is because it's what works for me. You can copy exactly what I do, and if you play it right, yes, it can work for you. If your play style and mine is similar or exactly the same, but if it does not work for you, then do not play it. And that is how you then evolve as a duelist, continue to grow, and that is how you're going to get numerous wins under your belt. Being wise, seeing combos as they are executed. The very first time I ran into Soul Swords and they tried their combo by their 5th summon, before they can even make that negate, they got Nibiru. I found out afterwards that they can make that negate into that Secret 10 afterwards when they set up their board, and I was like, you know, that's really cool. Now let's see with an answer for Droplets. And that is what you want. Be aware of what's going on and dominating the meta. Currently you're gonna see a lot of DPEs. Ensure that you can either bait out that effect or allow the effect to go off and hit it with Call by the Grave, or simply kaiju it. If they have enough monsters, Sphere Mode, Lava Golem, things of that nature. If you depending on your deck build, like I said, I just prefer the Nibiru. If you want to play kaiju, Sphere Mode, Lava Golem, Volcanic Queen, Santa Claus, anything of that nature, go ahead. If it works for you, play it. But that's all I have for you guys. That's those couple of points I need to stress, because you have a lot of sheep just taking the best set of players in the world of their constructive opinions as gospel, without even consulting, if everybody is playing this, how effective would I be in a mirror match, or how effective would I be if someone comes there and have an answer to this? That means they're going to take numerous L's, especially if you're playing against, you know, decks that really disrupt the graveyard, depending on what the best players in the world are saying supposed to be dominant. If numerous players are playing what they're recommending, and someone comes there and they just have a disruption for it, like right off the bat, they're all going to lose to that player hands down. Even if they manage to win a game, they're not going to win the overall match, simply because that player is going to take game 1 the next player is gonna have to now side deck to try to compensate, and if they can manage to scrape out a game 2, the opposing player already know that your first original formula before you side deck isn't gonna cut it, so most likely you're already sticking with whatever you side decked in, and now it gives them a chance to side deck against your new how to put it, your new deck build in terms of what you sided in, and that puts you at a disadvantage. You never want to be at a disadvantage going into a duel if you can help it. Always try to win that game 1, force your opponent to side, play your second match, your second duel, see what they sided in, and then that allows you to prep going into that third duel, giving you the advantage. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and as I continue to free up my time to get more videos out to you guys, and because this is Master Duel, I'm still in the process of earning gems so I can expand the deck territory for you guys, so you guys can see just how simplistic you can play almost any archetype in the game in Diamond Tier 1 and be successful just by following those key principles that I talked about earlier, with having a core engine and then having an answer to the opposing meta's main and support engines. But yeah, I think that's all that I have for you guys, so until next time, later.